So my question for you is, what do you do when you have writer's block?
When I have writer's block, um, when I have writer's block, usually what I try and do is first I'll put my headphones on and depending on the weather, you know, maybe bundle up as necessary. It's December still in Minnesota, so it's quite cold. But yeah, more often than not, I'll try. The first thing I'll try and do is go out and take a walk, just to get my mind going and get the blood flowing, get my brain working, get my oxygen flowing, and all that. Um, I usually also try. I try walking for like, I don't know, maybe like 20, 30 minutes. You know, uh, if I have the beat, I'll usually just have that on repeat on my walk.
Yeah.
Just so I can, get a feel for, what cadence do I want to use? What do I want to talk about? Do I want to incorporate this or that or the third in this particular section of the song? It's just to get myself looking at the song in different ways of trying to approach it. I'll also sometimes it does, like, I try not to like rely on it too much, but every now and then I'll, like, if there's like a certain like message or certain like kind of vibe or kind of like anything like that, sometimes I'll try and find other rap songs that kind of like influenced me and kind of talk about the things that I want to talk about, just to see, how did they approach it? What did they talk about? How could I talk about it differently? And what didn't they say that I could say? So I try not to
That's
rely on that.
intense.
I try not to rely on that too much, just because, like, sometimes I'm not thinking that deeply, and it's just like, I kind of just want an idea. I want, like, how did, like, if I have like an old school like hardcore boom bap instrumental that I'm rapping over, I'm not gonna like try and play like fucking I'm not gonna try and like play E40 to try and get some inspiration for that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna play some fucking Mobb Deep. If I'm trying to go for a vibe like E40, I'm gonna listen to E40. But
So do you think writer's block stems from a lack of inspiration?
I feel writer's block is, that's a tricky thing, because I personally stopped believing in writer's block.
Good. To anyone listening, I think that's a really good way to look at it, because Seth Godin says nobody gets plumber's block. It's just like we think really deeply and really hard, and we're like, fuck, this isn't good enough, But what he says is like, show me your bad writing, show me your 18 screenplays. In this sense, it could be like a show me your 12 songs, show me your 100 songs that suck, and we can improve it. But a lot of people don't have those writings. You know, they can't show them to them, and you know, it's all the little reptile brain inside saying, you know, it's that little fear. You
Yeah.
know, it's the same reason, like, as cavemen, we didn't, you know, get in the face of, like, the leader, because otherwise we'd be banished and we'd surely die. So, like, yeah, I agree with you that, you know, writer's block is more of a state of mind than anything, and you can psych yourself out of that state of mind.
Also, like, I feel like the best thing to do, like, I found out that more often than not, when I would have writer's block, it wouldn't be because I didn't know what to say. It was because I didn't know how I wanted to say it. Like, I didn't know how I wanted to write it on the page. And this was back in high school. So, like, there would be times I'd be sitting in study hall or, like, sitting with my notebook open for, like 5-10 minutes just staring at the next one, like, blank line. Like, it might be even like half a line, but I would stare at that for like 5 minutes just trying to figure out, like, okay, how do I phrase this perfectly so it gets in there? And at the time, like, it was more that, like, that perfectionism was much more of a hindrance to me, just because I was worrying too much about how it was gonna come out when, like, I was, like, just starting. Like, almost none of those raps that I wrote in high school ever made it off that page and onto a song. They were just written. And I spent so much time just focusing and trying to perfect them to, not even release them. And, now when I write, if like I said, I don't quite believe it. Like, I don't believe in writer's block anymore. I just have writing that is up to par with what I want to write. And I have writing that isn't quite up to par. It's what I want to write, but it's not up to that level. And people tend to forget that, like, these lyrics, like, the one thing I had to remind myself was that the lyrics that I write, even though, like, I may be writing them in pen on a paper, but I'm not chiseling them in stone. They're not permanent. I can, I can go back. I can change things. And so once I allowed myself to, like, fuck up a little bit, I noticed that I started improving on my writing.
Yeah.
And, like, another thing with that is sometimes to just get myself started, if I'm writing a song, sometimes I'll just, like, it's worked a few times. Like, this worked a few times really well. I'll just, like, set a timer for like 10 minutes and just write whatever's on my mind. Just, like, get it out on the page. Doesn't matter if it makes sense or not. Just get it out. And then when the 10 minutes is up, just, whatever. Just clear the timer, clear the board, whatever, and then, get to work. Because, so, like, I'll have, like, a clearer mind than when I went in. Just because I just did that brain dump on the page. And I've also found that this will be the last one. This is a long answer, but
it's a good subject.
One last thing that I'll try and do is just, like, I'll pace around my room and just freestyle, like, just to, like, get an idea of something. Because, sometimes, like, I don't freestyle often. I don't. I've been trying to work on that. But yeah, I find that sometimes when you just let things flow, like sometimes the first thing that comes to your mind is going to be the best thing that you're going to write. And that's going to set the tone for the song.
Yeah. There's also an element of momentum, I believe.
I feel that.
Drop that bitch.